Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So excited to see you. So many of you here. If you just joined us, go ahead and open your chat box. Let me know where everyone is from. We've kind of got a whole bunch of places. We've got Missouri, San Francisco, Colorado, North Dakota, Texas, Tennessee, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Cape Cod, Vermont, Boston, Chicago, North Dakota, Iowa, Richmond, Virginia. This is awesome to see so many different places coming here for yoga. All right, so I do want you guys to grab a few props if you have something around the house. If you would like to stay seated throughout this yoga series, you will want a chair that doesn't have armrests. So like a folding chair or like a kitchen chair, a nice firm chair, but that doesn't have armrests, but does have a back on it. So go ahead and grab a chair. And it's also nice if you have a yoga block. If you don't own yoga blocks, you can grab a roll of paper towels, works really well, a rectangular Kleenex box, as long as it's pretty full. If it's emptied, it can get bendy. A thick book, like a dictionary would work really well, or a textbook, but there's lots of things around your house you can probably improvise with. Like I said, a roll of paper towels, or even like a package of toilet paper can work. We can get very creative with things from around the house. But it's going to be helpful if you have a block, especially if you're new to yoga. Somebody said shoe boxes work well too. Shoe boxes work great, but leave the shoes in them so that they're solid. And if you have like an Amazon box laying around the house, those will work really well too. So grab something you can use as a prop or as a block. If you're going to do the standing poses, you can use a chair as a prop too. So find whatever works for you, whatever you have lying around the house. All right. And you guys can see I have my essential oil diffuser going back there, and I just wanted to share what I'm diffusing today. I have grounding in my diffuser. I want this session today to be grounding for me. So that is why I chose grounding. But whatever your intention is for today's practice, go ahead and, if you're diffusing an oil, you can always, I like to put a drop in the palm of my hand and rub it. And then breathe it in. That's a great way. And then it stays on your hands through the whole practice too. That's another great way to use oils with your practice. But oils go wonderfully with a yoga practice. So that's something to consider. So anyway, you guys are here today for an accessible yoga practice. And so what does accessible mean? Accessible means that basically any body can do yoga. It's only in the modern years that yoga has sort of become, and in the US, like it's more of a Western modern type of yoga where we think that you have to be thin and flexible and energetic to do yoga. And that is not at all the history of yoga. History has been around for over 5,000 years and it's evolved over time. But modern yoga has turned into more of an exercise yoga. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of core power yoga or hot yoga. These are more like cardio yoga workouts. They're not true to the yoga philosophy necessarily. And that is not at all what we're doing today. I am much more of a authentic yoga practice. And I don't even know that that's the right word because, how can you be authentic to something that's 5,000 years old and it's not of my culture? but we've kind of appropriated it here in the United States to kind of represent thin, white, able-bodied, flexible, typically women. And I want to break all those stereotypes for you guys, because that is not what yoga is about. And accessible yoga is for any body, whether you're a bigger body, a disabled body, an abundant body. When I first started doing yoga, I was a lot thinner, but I still had a large chest. And so I had to compensate, like in a low lunge pose, I'd have to bring both arms to the inside of my leg, opposed to one on each side, because my chest would get in the way. And I remember a yoga teacher coming over and asking me, "Why are you doing that?" And I'm like, "Because my boobs get in the way." And she was just like, "Oh, because she was flatter chested than me." So it had never occurred to her. And that is the problem we run into with a lot of yoga instructors out there. They've never experienced a bigger body, an abundant body, or a disabled body. And so that is the whole premise of me bringing accessible yoga to this community, because not everyone can stand. Not everyone can do inversions. Not everyone can get into a giant, big balancing pose. So I can't do those either. So today I'm here to show you a gentle flowing yoga, and hopefully you can see the benefits of it today. And I encourage you to do the yoga in a chair if you're not able to stand, or you prefer not to stand. Some of you might not like to get your heart rate up. Some of you don't want to have inversions. If that's the case, then I encourage you to stay in a chair for the whole practice. If you are more able-bodied and would like to get on your mat and do all the poses, you are welcome to do that. Or you might want to do a hybrid. You might want to sit for some of it, and if you decide to stand, you can try it, and if it doesn't work, you can go back to sitting. So it's your practice. It is whatever you want to do today. I am only here to be your guide and to help you understand a little bit more about yoga. So again, I want you guys to let me know in the chat how many of you have done yoga before, or are you brand new to it? So let me know in the chat. If you're a total newbie, or maybe you've been doing it, you've done it once or twice, or maybe you've been doing it for years. So let me know in the chat. We've got some newbies, experienced, brand new, new. So we've got quite the gamut here. So this is wonderful. And so my hope is to make this practice enjoyable, newish. I like that. My hope is to make this practice accessible to everyone. So if you're a complete newbie, you'll get an experience of what yoga can be like. And if you're really experienced and you've done a ton of yoga, you might learn a new way of doing yoga today. And I hope that that is enjoyable for you as well. There's so many benefits to yoga, and the point of yoga is to connect our body and our mind and our breath. And if you haven't done yoga before, don't worry, I'll walk you through all of it. But it's about connecting our breath with our movement and becoming aware of our body. Our body can tell us everything we need to know about healing, but we have to listen, and we have to have an awareness. If we're not acutely aware of what our body is telling us, we're not going to hear it. And so yoga is an incredible way to get in touch with our body and to listen to it. So today, as we do our practice, listen to your body. Hear what it has to tell you. Is it a little tight somewhere? Does it need to stretch over here? Oh, my right arm's more tight than my left arm. That's interesting. Just observe without casting judgment on it. I don't want you to worry about, oh, this shoulder's really tight. What did I do? I should be doing more exercise. What's wrong with it? Like, don't let those thoughts come in your head. Just notice, oh, the shoulder's tight. and just let it go without any judgment. It's telling you it's tight, and that's all you need to know. So just release the thoughts. Don't judge it. When we judge something, we give it power, and we want to keep all our power to ourselves. So no judging our bodies. But as I said, this practice is your practice. So make it your own. You can do your own thing. If you get lost in what I'm telling you to do, it's okay to just come back to standing or come back to seated and allow yourself to catch up when you're ready. Don't feel any pressure about having to keep up. Although today I think I will be going slow, so I think you should be able to follow along. But if you can't, no worries. And if your internet gets a little glitchy, again, just come to a standing or a seated position until your internet catches back up. And I will send out this recording so that you guys have this practice so that you can refer back to it and do it anytime that you like. And I also want to make sure that you all know about my new Patreon site. Emily, my assistant Emily, is here today. She's going to type it into the chat. But I have a Patreon membership site where you guys can join for as little as $5 a month and get exclusive content from me, which will include access to live yoga, meditation, Reiki, chakra energy, all sorts of classes with me. So at just $5 a month, you can help support my advocacy work and get tons of fun and exclusive content from me. And another reminder too, that we have Brain Injury Awareness Day coming up on March 16th, and you can get registered for that. Emily will throw that in the chat as well. And that is completely free. It's 10 to 4, so it's a full day event. We'll be live streaming it, and it'll also be on Zoom, but you guys can hop in as you want, or you can sit and stay all day. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have about 27 awesome speakers. So I hope that you guys can register for that as well. All right. Any questions before we get started? Type them in the chat if you have any questions. And I am going to bring Emily in here as well. So now if someone can just type in the chat to confirm that you can see both me and Emily. Can someone, yep, okay. I see a couple we can. Sorry, I dropped my paper. I've got my flow notes I got here, and my tape isn't being very friendly. Okay, all right. So we're gonna get started. So go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position, either on the floor, or someone said I'm not seeing Emily, but everybody else is saying you can see both. So you might have to click the gallery view on your end if you're not seeing both of us. So I want you all to come to a seated position, either on your chair or on the floor. And if you're on the floor, go ahead and put a pillow or a folded blanket underneath your sit bones. That will help elevate your hips up the ground. And that just tends to be a lot more comfortable for most people, especially if you are in a bigger body or have tight hips. I'll set my water down. Okay. So you guys can't totally see my feet, but that's okay. All right, so if you are seated in a chair, go ahead and come to the front of the chair if that's comfortable for you. And if you're seated on the floor, sit in an easy cross-legged position if that's comfortable, or you can bring your legs out in front of you, whatever is comfortable for you. And we'll start with our hands on our lap. And we're just gonna take a couple breaths together. We're gonna inhale through our nose and exhale through our nose. Unless that's not accessible to you, then breathe however is most comfortable for you. But our breath is just as important as our movement in yoga. So I want you guys to start practicing the breath work with me as we do today's practice. So inhaling and exhaling through our nose is the most typical breath work in yoga. But again, if that's not comfortable for you, do what works for you. You do you. All right, so we're going to take an inhale and we're going to lift our arms up overhead, palms facing each other. And exhale, palms down, arms float down to our sides. Inhale, palms up, float our arms up, palms towards each other. Exhale, arms come down. Do that a few more times. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms come down. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhale, release them down. One more time. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, arms float down, and then rest your hands on your legs. Now, as we inhale, I want you to stretch out your fingers. And on the exhale, release your fingers. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, relax. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, relax. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale, stretching those fingers. Exhale, release. Now we're going to do the same thing with our toes. I apologize, you can't see my toes. But if you're seated on the floor, you can either keep your legs crossed or you can bring them out in front of you, whichever will be easier. But we're going to inhale, stretch the toes. Exhale, relax. Inhale, stretch the toes. Exhale, relax. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, stretch the toes. Exhale, release. And one more time. Inhale, stretch the toes. And release. Now we're going to bring in some contralateral movement. We're going on our inhale, we're going to stretch our right fingers and our left toes. Exhale, release. Inhale, left fingers, right toes. And release. Inhale, stretch the right fingers, left toes. Release. Inhale, left fingers, right toes. And release. Inhale, right fingers, left toes. Release. Inhale, left fingers, right toes. And release. And now on this last one, let's do all our fingers and all our toes on the inhale. And exhale. Let them all relax. Now just sit here for a moment and observe how your body feels. Do you feel a difference just in doing those simple movements and our breath work into our body? And just observe how your body's feeling after just doing those few breaths and movements. Now we're going to warm up our necks. We're going to do some neck tilts. So on your inhale, let your head tip to the right as far as it's comfortable. If this isn't accessible to you, that's okay. You can leave your head up. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can drop your chin towards your chest. Remember to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. And release. Bring your head back up to neutral. And now inhale and drop your head to the left. And again, if anything doesn't feel good, just come back to seated. And you can deepen the stretch by dropping your chin to your chest. And breathe. And bring your head back up to neutral. Now let's do some big shoulder rolls. Bring them up, back, down, and around. And really get those shoulder blades moving, get your clavicles moving. Bring those shoulders up to your ears on the way around. Warming up our upper back and shoulders. And then let's reverse, bring them up, forward and around and back. And then come back to neutral. And now let's warm up our wrists. Go ahead and bring your right hand up facing you. Bring your left hand to the right fingers, pulling them back and pulling back on your wrist. And you should feel a nice stretch through your wrist and that forearm area on the back of your arm. And pull it only as far as it feels comfortable. For some of you, this might be a really intense stretch. Our wrists get very, very tight with using our mouse and our phones and typing on our phones with our thumbs. And speaking of thumbs, so go ahead and release that, but let's do another stretch because we don't really include our thumb in that stretch. So now I want you to pull your wrists back using your thumb, giving that thumb a good stretch. And only as far as that feels comfortable for you. And then release. And now we'll go the other hand, bring your left arm up, take your right hand to your left fingers and pull it back, stretching your wrist. And breathe. And then release that. And then let's grab our thumb and bring our thumb back. And this is a great stretch to just do during your work day if you're doing a lot of computer or phone work. And you can actually do each individual finger like this. It's a great stretch. And release. And now let's do some wrist rolls. Making circles with our wrist. And make sure you go the other way. All right, now bring your hands back to your lap. If you are working in the chair and your back is starting to feel a little sore, feel free to sit back in your chair for this one if you like. Otherwise, you can stay here. If you're on the floor, you can continue to stay here or move to a chair, whatever is most comfortable for you. Now we're going to do some breath work. We're going to start with our hands on our belly. And as we inhale, we're going to bring our hands out to the side, opening up our chest. And on the exhale, bring our hands back to our belly. Inhale, arms to the side. Exhale back to the belly, but change the cross of your hands. I want you to alternate the hand that touches your belly first. Inhaling to the side. Exhaling to your belly. Inhaling out to the side. Exhale to the belly. Now we're going to bring our arms up a little higher. Exhaling, hands to our chest, our heart center. Inhaling, arms to the side. Exhale, change across your hand. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale out. Exhale, hand to the chest. And now we're going to go higher, hands up. Exhale to the crown of your head. Inhaling up. Exhaling, crown of your head, change the cross of your hands. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up, reach high through those fingertips. And exhale, bring your arms down to your lap. Now we're going to do a seated twist. So bring your right hand to your left knee. And take a big inhale, get up nice and tall. And on your exhale, you're going to twist to the left. If you're on the floor, bring your hands behind you. If you're on a chair, you can grab the back of your chair and turn your body into the twist. You can turn your head to the left to look over your shoulder if that feels good to you. And breathe. Twists are wonderful for letting go of anything no longer serving our bodies. Exhaling, come back to center. Now bring your left hand to your right knee. Inhale, get up nice and tall. Exhaling, twist to the right. Looking over your shoulder, if that is accessible to you. And breathe. And release, exhale back to center. Now bringing your hands to your knees, we're going to do a seated cat-cow. So we're going to inhale. Oh, thank you, Emily. If you are working on the floor, you can come to all fours in tabletop position. If you are working on the floor on your mat, you can follow all of Emily's cues and look to Emily for how to do the pose. And I will be staying seated and showing you the seated position. So hands to our knees, inhale, come into come into cow. You were right, Emily. Come into cow. So it's a slight back bend if you're seated. And exhale, round your back into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And your head can either go with the movement, inhale, cow, or it can stay very neutral. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. We're waking up our spine. Exhaling, cat. One more inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And stay here for just a moment. You can give those hips a little wiggle to wake up your hips, your low back. And then come back to neutral. If you are on the floor, you can go ahead and come to standing. And now we're going to do some lateral, I lied. First, we're going to do we're going to kind of start warming up the body if you're standing. So let's take a breath, bringing our arms overhead. Inhale, exhale, let them float back down. Do this a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Now we're going to bring in some contralateral movements again. So you're going to inhale, bring your right arm overhead and your left leg, let it kick out in front of you. And if you're seated, you're just unbending your knee. Exhale, bring them both back down. Inhale, left arm up, right leg kicks out in front, just as high as is comfortable. Exhale, both come back down. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And release back down. Now we're going to do some lateral bends. So bring your right hand up like you're saying hi. And on our inhale, we're going to bend to our left. Feeling that stretch through the right side of your body. Exhale, come back to neutral. Inhale, bend to the left. And exhale, back to neutral. Inhale. And exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your right hand down. Bring your left hand up. And inhale. And we're going to bend to the right. And exhale. And if you're like me, my back just cracked a whole bunch and felt good. So I hope that this is feeling good for you. Exhale, neutral. And as always, only go as far as it feels good. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. Now, if you have a block accessible to you, I want you to bring your block in front. We're going to do some forward folds. Now, a few notes here. If you are staying seated, bring your feet a little wider. We want room for our body to be able to bend forward. If you're standing, your feet are just about hip width apart like Emily. And if you have any trouble with inversions and forward folds, I want you to either stay seated or you can do a forward fold to a chair. So Emily doesn't have a chair, but she's going to demonstrate what that would look like. So you would come to the seat of the chair. If you imagine Emily has a chair in front of her, her hands would be on the seat of the chair. But if you don't have trouble with inversions, we're going to do some forward folds here. And I want you just to come to the block. I don't want you to come all the way to the floor for these. All right, so everybody starts by standing or seated nice and tall on those sit bones. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale as you forward fold to your block. And so as you're seated, you can see I just come to about here on my block. I got my block right here. I know you can't see it. Inhale, we're going to come halfway up to a flat back. So that's bringing our shoulders and our chest forward and looking forward. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms to our sides. So let's do that again. We're going to do this a few times. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Exhale, we're going to kind of swan dive, leading with our chest as we come down to our block. Inhale, we come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms to the side. Good job, everyone. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, leading from the chest as we forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms to our side. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms to our side. Okay, now we're going to add on to this series. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, leading from our chest. Inhale, half back. Exhale, forward fold. Now we're going to add on. Your right hand's going to stay on the block or the chair, and your left arm's going to come up into a twist. If this is accessible to you. If it's not, you can leave your hand on your hip. But if your arm can come up, exhale, come back to the block. Inhale, right arm comes up. And again, if that's not accessible to you, you can keep your hand on your hip. Exhale, back to the block. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, release your arms to the side. Let's do that again. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring the left arm up in a twist. Exhale, back to the block. Inhale, right arm comes up to a twist. Exhale, back to the block. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms at the side. We're going to do this one more time. And again, if this is getting to be too much, you can just stand here or sit and breathe. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left arm up in a twist. Exhale, back to the block. Inhale, right arm up in a twist. Exhale, back to the block. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms to the side. Now just stand here for a moment and just observe how your body feels. You got some blood pumping through the body, whether you were seated or standing. So just take a moment and listen to your body. What's it telling you? Mine's telling me that felt pretty good. Okay, now we're going to do another contralateral movement. These contralateral movements are wonderful for our brain to start processing the opposite sides of the body that help us control movement. So we're going to bring our arms overhead. And as we exhale, the right arm is going to come to the floor, or the block, I'm sorry. The left hand is going to come to the small of your back. Inhale, we're going to come all the way back up, arms overhead. Exhale, now the left hand comes to the block, right hand comes to the small of your back. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, right hand to the block, left hand to your back. Come all the way up. And exhale, left hand down, right hand to your back. All the way up. One more time each side. Exhale, right hand to the block, left arm to your back. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, left hand to the block, right hand to your back. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release your hands to your side. Okay, now if you're seated, go ahead and remove the block and bring your feet back closer together. And if you're standing, you're gonna keep your feet about hip width apart. And standing, you're going to come into chair pose. And if you're seated, you're gonna stay seated, just bringing your arms out in front of you diagonally into chair pose. So exhale into chair pose. Inhale, come all the way up, pushing up with your legs. Exhaling into chair pose again. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhaling into chair. Inhaling, come up. Then we're going to add on to this. Exhaling into chair. Now bring your palms together. And we're going to twist to our left, if that's accessible to you. And then come back to chair and all the way up. And again, exhaling down into chair, palms together, twist to our right. And coming back to chair, and then all the way up. So yeah, one more time each side. Exhale into chair, palms together, twisting to our left. Arms back out front, all the way up. Exhale into chair, palms together, twist to the right. Back to chair, and all the way up. And just stand or sit here for a moment and just observe your body. Maybe your body needs a little movement. Go ahead and twist or shake. Just wiggle your body, whatever feels good to you. And now if you're working on the mat, go ahead and come back down to all fours in tabletop position. If you're seated, come back to the front of your chair, hands on your knees. We're going to do cat-cow again. So inhale, chest forward, cow. Exhale into cat. Release all the breath from your lungs. Inhaling back to cow. Exhaling cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. One more time, inhaling to cow. Exhale to cat. And go ahead and give those hips a little wiggle. And come back to neutral. And if you're on the floor, go ahead and lower all the way down onto your belly. And let your forehead rest on the floor. And bring your arms down by your rib cage below your shoulders. If you're seated with me, bring your hands to your chest. And everybody pull your shoulder blades back and down. And on the inhale, on the floor, you're going to lift up into cobra. If you're seated, we're going to pull our shoulders back into a little bit of a back bend into seated cobra. Go ahead and let your chin come up. And breathe here. If this isn't accessible to you, you can either lie or sit here comfortably. And breathe. Exhale, lower down or come back up to seated. Take a little breath here. Change the cross of your hands. If you are seated, pull those shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, lift up into cobra or lean back into cobra if you're seated. And breathe. And exhale, lower down or come back up to seated. Now, if you're on the floor, go ahead and push yourself up and come back to a seated cross-legged position or whatever is comfortable. Now we're going to give ourselves a little self-massage. And if you're seated in the chair, you can go ahead and come back and let your backs get supported against the chair. We're going to start by placing our hands over our eyes, if that is comfortable to you. And take a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Now go ahead and take your fingertips to your forehead and draw little circles on your forehead. And move to your temples and down your jawline to your chin. And then your nose and across your cheekbones. And then up behind your ears. And up in through your scalp. So little circles all over your scalp. Calming down our parasympathetic system. And then circles down the back of your neck and the side of your neck. You can bring your opposite hand to the opposite side if that's easier. And then down to your clavicles, your right hand to your left clavicle and your left hand to your right clavicle and your throat. And then bring your hands to your knees. And now if you're on the floor, go ahead and lie on your back as we prepare for final relaxation pose, Shavasana. If you're in the chair, I do welcome you to lie on the floor if that is accessible to you, or you can simply relax, recline back on your chair. If you're on the floor, let your feet come about mat width apart. Your arms will come out to your side, palms up. If you're seated, just bring your palms wherever it is comfortable. You can bring your legs a little bit wider if you like. And just focus on your breath, bringing your awareness to your breath. Allow your eyes to close if that's comfortable, or you can soften your gaze to the floor in front of you. And feeling your chest rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Feeling our breath entering our body. Allow your body to relax into the floor or the chair. Allowing your toes to relax and your feet. Your legs relax. And your hips. Relaxing your low back and your chest. Relaxing your shoulders and your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Relaxing your neck and your throat. Releasing tension from your jaw and your tongue. Releasing any tension from your forehead and your eyes. And just feeling your breath. Allow yourself to just fully relax into this pose. Releasing any thoughts or judgments. If any thoughts do enter your mind, just allow them to leave and come back to your breath. And I'm going to be quiet for the next few moments as you lie here in Shavasana. Slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Feel the inhale filling up your chest and the exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Slowly waking your body back up. Gently bring your awareness to your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Slowly open your eyes and bring your awareness to your surroundings. Very slowly, if you're on the floor, very slowly when you're ready, roll onto your side, allowing your head to rest on your arm. And when you're ready, gently push yourself up with your hands, with your head coming up last. And if you're in the chair, slowly come back to the front of the chair. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Just observe, how is your body feeling? Again, no judgment, just observe. And let's take a final breath together, inhaling. Bring your arms all the way up, bringing your palms together. Exhaling, bring your hands down to heart center. Namaste. How is everyone feeling? Go ahead and come into the chat. Let me know how you feel after that. We just did a 45-minute practice. We did a very gentle flow. Rachel says rejuvenated. Vic says relaxed. Carl says thank you. You're welcome. Relaxed. Donna said that was amazing. Thank you. You're very welcome. Calming, relaxed, very relaxing, relaxed and renewed, content, good word, calm. These are all great words. Now just imagine if you guys did this every day, right? Just adding more balance into our life. Take a few more breaths. It can sometimes be a little disorienting coming out of final relaxation pose. With our 45-minute practice, I did about a 7-minute Shavasana. With an hour-long class, I would do about a 10-minute. And I forgot to mention, if you had a blanket, you could cover yourself with a blanket, because sometimes you can get cool in Shavasana as your body is cooling back down. Rachel said, I need to do this every day. Mary said, calming. Now, I know some of you said you were total newbies. Some of you said you were experienced. I'm curious to hear from the newbies, is this what you thought yoga would be? Let me know. And I'm curious to hear from those who are experienced, if this is like normal to what you do, or if this was different from what you've learned yoga to be. I know Emily, I started working with Emily, it's been a few months, it was before winter. And you know, when she started working with me, she had only ever gone to core power and she always felt lost. She didn't know what she was supposed to do and she felt the pressure to keep up. And that's not how yoga should be. That, like I said, that's more of an exercise or a fitness yoga. Um, Someone said it's way better than I thought it would be. Vic said this was accessible for me, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Carl said it was very gentle. Good starter session. This was better. This was different, less strength training, more emphasis on breath. A little, oh, they're going so fast, I can't read them. A little slower, which was great. Your voice is soothing, thank you. Rachel said, I thought it would be a lot of balancing poses. And I will work into those. I will make sure we work into balancing poses and yet trying to keep them accessible for those who need to remain in a chair. Joanne said, I've had all types of classes, hot and Kripalu. Ooh, Kripalu is great. This was very accessible and calming. It was more challenging than I thought, and it was more relaxing. It was great. It was calming. These are great. Now, let me know, you guys, if you're interested, how often would you like to see these classes? You know, once a week, once a month, every other week? Like what would you guys like to see? Weekly. Lee asked, what kind of yoga was this? Well, this was just traditional yoga. It was gentle yoga and it was accessible yoga. I would love live classes. I don't do recordings. I totally get that. I do like recordings sometimes, but I prefer a live class. I feel more accountable if there's actually somebody behind that screen telling me what to do. It feels like I have more accountability, that I have to get off my butt and do it. Once a week, weekly, once a week, 2 times a week, weekly, bi-weekly, please once a week, weekly or every other week, weekly or twice a week. Okay, this is great. This is great information, you guys. So I'm going to try and do these for sure once a week, as time allows. Rachel says Thursdays work awesome. I love you, Rachel. So yeah, so I'm going to try and do these more frequently for you guys. And I'll mix them up. I'll make sure that we have some that has more strength and balancing in it, as well as some that is more gentle. I also would like to know, would you guys like a really good breakdown? I've considered making a video with Emily of kind of going through all the traditional yoga poses and how to do them, so that you guys can like watch that before we have a class. Would that be helpful for you guys too? Someone said yes. Yeah, I was thinking of doing like just having a basic video of like, these are the poses that we're going to do, and this is how you do them. And then it's just sort of a reference video, I guess would be a good word for that. I'm getting a lot of yeses on that. So that's great. All right. So again, you guys, if you can help support me on Patreon, I'm not charging for these classes, but if you would like to support me on Patreon, I have different levels, but even at just $5 a month, you guys can help support, and you will get first access to these live trainings. You'll also get additional content from me every Monday. I'm not saying it's not going to be a yoga recording every Monday, but every Monday you're going to get some sort of content from me. And then you'll also get invitations to these live yoga classes. And I will work. So this one was about a 45-minute session. And so they're going to range anywhere from about 30 to 45 minutes is about what I'm thinking for these classes. And if it's going to be longer, I'll let you know ahead of time. So if we're going to do like a 60 or 70-minute class ever, I'll make sure that you know that so that you can allow that on your schedule. But for the most part, just block that hour, and I will try and keep them at 30 to 45 minutes. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys doing this with me. We had almost 200 people register, so this is wonderful. So you guys, thank you for being here. I will try to plan something for next week or the following week, and we'll start doing these on a regular practice. Someone said beautiful necklace. Thank you. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. This one is a shungite crystal. And then this one is my mala. This one is jasper, agate, and rose quartz. So I love wearing my crystals, and I've got a mala on my wrist as well with I forget what's all in this. It's jasper, and I always forget the blue one. It's not turquoise, but it was a gift from a dear friend. But I love wearing crystals when I do my yoga. And so as we proceed through these, I'm going to bring in more about crystals and chakras and energy and all that fun stuff. Oh, someone asked, they missed the oil at the beginning. I have in my diffuser right now, I can never do this. It's called grounding. So Young Living makes a whole line of manifesting oils, which is super cool. So this one's grounding. And I have to tell you, when we were doing, remember at the beginning, I put a drop in my hand and rubbed it. And as we were doing different poses, and then when we did this one at the end, I was like, I could smell it. It smells so good. And they also make like diffuser jewelry. I don't have any on right now, but they make diffuser jewelry. So like earrings or necklaces or bracelets. And so that's kind of fun too when you're doing yoga. So you have it so you can smell it. So if you ever see me like doing something weird like this, I'm probably smelling my oils as I'm talking. All right. Yep. Someone said lava rock. Yep. Lava rocks are great diffuser pieces. All right. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Emily, for being here and being a lovely assistant. It's been a pleasure seeing everybody. And I will be in touch. I will send out this recording and I will be in touch for our next session. So namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Emily. Hang on. I'm gonna stop recording if I can.